Do you know back then though? I grew up through junior school and it was quite racist.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
How did you feel intimidated because
No,
you were
do
the
you know what?
only
It was-
Asian?
Because we had it from an early age. Basically, we were different. So, like, are you curry munchers? Like, usual packies, like this and that. Like, and then if you anyone that was playing against England football team, for example, anyone Romania, anyone, we're now Romanian. We're now like we're the enemy basically all the time. So you just get bullied on that front.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it was bad. I remember it
That's-
because me and my sister were quite similar age. She was a year older than me, and so she used to she was quite tough.
Yeah.
She used to kind of fend it off. And then it's the way
Okay.
you dealt with it, so we didn't used to take it to heart. Once someone thought, I remember like year 4 or 5, someone chucked a rock on my head and it hit me in the head, like in the playground, and I went down. And they all come over and they all say, "Oh, don't worry, packies have got strong heads."
Have you ever bullied kids? Because what I'm
it's
saying is
the army
because
culture. The army culture is very, very. It's tough, and
Yeah.
then you got to filter them. So when the kids come through, you give them tough love. 3/4 of them leave.
Folks, welcome to a brand new episode of Fitpod, and today in a brand new studio we have a Birmingham's our own, a very, very well-known entrepreneur, a businessman, a family man from MotorServ. Kamran, welcome, and thank you very much for taking your time out. I know you're a busy guy.
No, thank you very much, and thanks for having me in your wonderful new studio.
Well, we just kind of revamped it this morning.
Proud to be the first.
You are the first. Yes, you are the first. There's still a few bits and pieces that we need to do. We need to finish off, but you came on time and didn't give us enough time to finish off. But we managed to do
First time in my life.
when you weren't supposed to be.
Yeah.
But sorry, first of all, I've got a bit of a chesty cough, so
Yeah.
apologies on that. Not going to take too much of your time. We want to get straight into your early life and your influences.
Okay.
So my first question to you is, how did you grow up in Solihull, and how did that shape your identity and values?
Okay. So I think, I don't know which way you want to put it, fortunate or unfortunate. My parents moved to Solihull in the early 80s. So basically I was born in Solihull.
Right.
And they did it for education because at the time they moved to Spark Hill, basically, like where the Asian population was.
Yeah.
There was no schools, there was no nurseries, because back then it was a big Irish population, huge Irish population.
And how back are we going?
It's the 1970s, 1980s.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
late 70s, yeah. It was a big Irish population, so all the schools, nurseries were full. And my dad basically just moved from London to Birmingham. My elder sister, who's 6 years older than me, she was nursery age and had to move all the way to Solihull, which was the sticks back then. It was like countryside. There's no M42, there's no Monk's Path, there's no Cheswick Green, yeah, so it's proper sticks. And I moved to this little new estate called Cheswick Green, which has just been built. Brand new nursery in the middle of the village. Straight in Monday morning, my sister started school there. And she's the only Asian in the whole school.
Wow, how did
And
that
so,
feel?
well, that's the thing. So when I grew up, because my dad, obviously, they moved around Solihull, so I moved to different locations. But I was the only Asian in the class, only like one of two in the year. So I grew up, my basically background was surrounded by English people. We had a very big connection with the Gumgur Sharif Mosque, which is obviously Darul Umm Islamiyah back then. So my dad was the chairman from 1984 to 2018.
Yeah.
So we used to be at the mosque a lot. We used to be in the community a lot. So I had a dual. I understood
So you
English
had
people.
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, best of both, exactly that. So I think I grew up with quite a balanced viewpoint, really, and quite a good.
No, that's
understanding of the-
interesting, because sometimes what people do is they kind of move away from the Asian, the culture, the community, and they kind of become that different identity where they kind of, if you know what I mean, like
They lose it.
yeah, they lose
Yeah.
they lose their own values.
Yeah, I'm half Coco,
Yeah, oh yeah.
so I've still got the values and understanding.
But look, you play it well, right?
Thank you very
it's
much.
not
Yeah.
it's not totally the full on, Rishi Sunak kind of thing. Or what's the other one's name? Sajid
Javid.
Sajid
Yeah,
Javid.
yeah.
That's the one.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, I knew you were thinking that.
I'm glad.
People have said I
because
look like him.
I wouldn't
Well,
go
go
that
for that
far,
look.
but no, I've met you first time, so we'll leave that for the second conversation.
Cool.
So, no, I'm glad, because like I says, people kind of lose their values
Yeah.
because now that they've moved into this new posh area,
Yeah.
they have to be like everyone else around, which is good. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's a nice area, everyone keeps their...
Well, do you know back then though, I grew up through junior school and it was quite racist.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
How did you feel intimidated because
No,
you were
do
the
you know what?
only
It was-
Asian?
Because we had it from an early age, basically we were different. So like, are you curry munchers, like usual packies, like this and that, like, and then if anyone that was playing against England football team, for anyone Romania, anyone, we're now Romanian. We're now like we're the enemy basically all the time. So you just get bullied on that front.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it was bad. I remember it because
That's-
me and my sister were quite similar age. She was a year older than me, and so she was quite tough.
Yeah.
She used to kind of fend it off, and then it's the way you dealt with it. So we didn't used to take it to heart. Once someone thought, I remember like year 4 or 5, someone chucked a rock on my head, and it hit me in the head, like in the playground, and I went down. And they all come over and they all say, "Oh, don't worry, Packies have got strong heads. They got big heads. They got yeah." And it's like, "You'll be all right."
So did you what did the school do about that?
Nothing. Back then it was just
So
like,
nothing's changed in that
nah,
department?
not well. I don't know, because back then you didn't really report stuff in, did you? It wasn't like a crybaby state, so you didn't have social media. You just dealt with it in the playground.
Yeah.
You just kind of sorted out. So, and it's because we didn't react to it. We didn't go into like our shells and be like persecuted, sitting in a corner. We used to fight back.
Yeah.
And then they used to go, "Oh, they're all right. They are. Those Packies, they're fine." So we were kind of accepted. So it's fine. And as we grew up, you just had a bit of an understanding about who they were. Yeah, they're there eating their sausage rolls, eating this and that, and we didn't.
Yeah.
We had our like little halal cheese sandwich.
Halal. Sausage
We got our own,
sandwich.
we got our own like chicken in the bag kind of thing. So, and then they were quite accepting of that. So I've grown up, like some of my closest friends were English. They were at my Mendi, they were at my wedding.
Yeah.
A few of them worked for me for a long time, and yeah, they did Ramadan fast with us.
Oh wow.
So you got to.
I think it's
coming
just
together
about
cultures.
again, when someone, especially back then,
Yeah,
when there were new faces,
Yeah.
people didn't know how to react.
they didn't. No.
So you had to maybe kind of teach them. But that era, they did it the hard way.
Yeah,
Nowadays, everything's on just social media. Everything. The world is a very small place now.
yeah,
You know what's
Exactly.
happening in Australia. You know what's happening in Brazil.
yeah.
So-
About every car getting stolen. About every little incident at
Everything.
school. Yeah, exactly.
And I think you guys, you guys made pave the way through for my generation. I don't know how old you are, but
Early 40s.
84. Oh, I'm more or less the same age then. But for the younger,
How old do I look?
you said 80s. I was born in 85.
No, I was born in 81, so you say
Oh,
my
yeah, you're
wife.
just few years
I
older
was
than me
born.
then.
Yeah,
And so I think the generation today have it a lot easier in that sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it still happens, but
yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
people know who Asians are, Pakistanis, Indian, Bengalis, everyone,
Well,
but
it's
you
a
still
bit-
get that.
It helps, doesn't it? That we're
It helps.
30% of the population
Oh,
now
definitely.
in Birmingham, so less of a minority.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's the white people are the minorities now.
In some places,
some
yeah,
places
yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually scary. I
Yeah.
bought a friend of mine from Luton, and he was from Africa, and I took him up Cove Road,
Yeah.
and I said to him, "I'll give you £100 for every white person you see." And trust me, I kept that £100.
Blues weren't playing with that day. You'd be screwed then.
Strategic.
Yeah.
It was a strategic move that was.
Yeah.
I made sure they
they all
were
come out the dollar kebab shop. You're like,
I'm
bugger.
telling you, that would be like 30 grand.
Yeah, that's it.
But what impact did your father's role in Gomgol Sharif have on you?
Oh, it's massive. It was we were involved in everything. So like the inception of the mosque when it was built, like, I put the foundation stones down as one of the kids that did that.
Wow.
It was we were there all the time. So my dad
When did
spent-
that? Because I remember
92.
92.
Yeah, so 92 and it opened fully in 97.
Yes.
So it was late 80s was when they were doing it. 'Cause I was like 10 and they were doing like the fundraising. I remember it. We used to go to Manchester, Coventry, London, like used to go around everywhere. And I was doing the fundraising for the mosque. And then when they started building it, it was a massive thing because it was the biggest mosque in Birmingham,
It was?
England at the time.
I mean, it
So
still
it's
is.
huge. It's still one of the biggest.
Compared,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, and it's fantastic. So it's a good achievement for because it wasn't just my dad alone. It was the trustee team at the time,
Yeah.
Sufi Saab, all the late Brazils, and they did a absolutely phenomenal job.
Did you ever think that I might be part of this mosque now? Like, as in just run the mosque?
Oh, when I was older, I
Yeah.
don't know. It was to be honest, I've got too busy in business, so I've not really had the opportunity or chance yet. Who knows for the future? But at this moment, no, I've got no.
When
no
it was being
connections.
built, you
Yeah.
thought, okay, this is something that I want to do. I want to go into the mosque business, well, if you know what I mean. Like,
Business. yeah. Well, you can say that, but yeah, it's a mosque organisations.
organizations
Yeah.
or be part of the mosque, and that's it. You know, my father's built something, helped build something,
Yeah.
and now it's my duty to kind of run the show.
It was.
Did you ever think of that rather than going to, cars? It's a
I just
very
got too consumed with it, to be honest, because obviously we'll probably go into this in a bit. But when I came out of university, I got really absorbed into it. It grew really fast, so I didn't have time to. Yeah, I didn't have time to finish my ACCA qualifications because it got really busy.
with the cars.
Yeah, with the cars and the finance business and everything. So yeah, I've not really had the opportunity yet. Well, I've got partial. Yeah, we'll go into that in a bit as well. But I'm helping with certain projects, but not the actual organisation of the mosque or anything else.
You know, I was reading that you were going into the army,
Yeah.
and what made you go into the army?
Well, my family background in Pakistan, we've got a lot of obviously army people. My ancestors, they're all kind of in the armed forces in Pakistan.
Okay.
So and even my father's generation has quite a few people in Pakistan Air Force, in the army and stuff.
Oh wow.
So it was a big, like my mum was a colonel, retired now, but so
Is
army
he
was
still with
always,
us? Or?
yeah, he
Yeah.
lives in Islamabad. Yeah, so he's very active still, and I always had an interest. I've had an interest in a lot of stuff, to be fair, and I always pursued it. So as a kid, I joined the cadets at the age of 11.
Okay.
And I'd advise everyone, my sons are going to do it.
You know, I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that because I've got a son. He's just 2 yet.
Yeah. Okay,
You know,
you got
'cause
one.
I'm kind of thinking ahead.
That's good, man.
You know,
Plan ahead.
I want him to do certain things that I never got to do.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that I want to live through him.
But you will, kind of.
Yeah, but
Not that I do that. I've got 3 sons, mashallah, and I'm
Mashallah.
living them through 'em.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I want him to do all of these boy manlish things.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I
yeah.
think now with this whole influence of Jaguar coming up, I want to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very scary.
It is, yeah.
Very scary because you don't know what's going to happen now. There's certain things that I've started teaching him. And my missus is like, oh, he's only 2 years old. It's only 2 years old. But
Shaping them from the start.
trust me,
Yeah.
man, you got to do shit now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too late. And stuff like, it's very different. So you joined the cadets
Yeah.
at
11.
11.
Yeah.
And how does that work? What do you do?
Well, at that time, because you've got CCF, which is part of like posh schools, basically. So the private schools generally got CCF. I wasn't at posh. I was at a state school in Solihull, which was still good. But there's ACF, which is Army Cadet Force, and you got C cadets, you got Air cadets as well. But they operate independently.
Right.
So I went along to an army centre. It was like there were loads at the time. There was one in Shirley, near where I lived, and I joined there. There's a couple of guys from my school as well who joined, and just walked in one day at the age of 11 on their intake and just joined up.
So did you ever think of,
I
this
did.
is what I wanna
That was
do?
I did want to do it. I loved it. So because I didn't at first, it was horrible. Because again, it was very English. I was one of the very few Asians, and there's a bit of a beating up on camps and stuff like this.
Serious?
Yeah, of course. But again, because I was used to it, you used to just take it. You used to take it as a bit of a laugh, like not a laugh, but like you just take it and then you give it some back, and then they wouldn't do it next time.
Calm down.
Yeah, just calm down, or like just simmer out, and then they'd pick on someone else. Because the thing with the cadets is you got to kind of last the first couple of years, and then the
So
junior
how long
kids.
do you have to?
I was there from 11 till I was 18.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it's a
7
big part of
years?
my life, man. Like through secondary school, through college, and then you become a senior. Then you start instructing the kids, and then you start influencing it because then it becomes your thing.
Have you ever bullied kids?
It-
Because
It
what I'm saying
the
is
army
because
culture. The army culture is very, very. It's tough, and
Yeah.
then you got to filter them. So when the kids come through, you give them tough love. 3/4 of them leave
wow.
because it's like natural
Do you
selection.
ever get do you ever get done for it or no?
No, you don't go past certain lines. Like you don't. You know when you say that bullying, but no, you put them through the paces.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of shouting, a lot of keep in line and keep in order because that's the army. And then half of them, or at that time, it's about probably half leave within the first 6 months,
Oh,
and then you
wow.
get the good kids that are good,
They stick
progressing. And yeah, some of the guys that were below me, like a couple of years below me, they went far higher than I did in the ranks. They've joined the army, they've joined the Marines, they've done all sorts of stuff, and I know them like through the garage and stuff now, and I know them, and they've done had a remarkable careers. Some of them, really good. And
I don't know, man. I don't know if I could join the British Army, man. I don't know.
The British Army is a very, very big organisation. It's not like you're on the front line nowadays. Hardly anyone is, and yeah, they'll put people through their medical degrees, put through engineering degrees. You know, it's a good viable solution compared to burning 60 grand at uni. They'll put you through it while you're earning 30 grand a year, and you'll have a job at the end of it. So I would highly, because I've been talking to, there's a few Pakistani officers, and I was invited to the officers training school. I can't remember the name of it now. It's the big one near London. Yeah, literally slipped my mind, but yeah, I can't remember it. But anyways, it's a big training academy for officers, and I got invited there, and the whole thing, because my wife was invited because she's a teacher, and the whole thing, she was shocked at the amount of opportunities they've got.
Really?
So it's well worth looking at. Yeah, it's a viable alternative. We're going to give our kids that alternative. Say, like, you can either go to university or you can join the army or the Air Force or this or that, and look at all the careers you can have. There's loads of stuff, and it's like
That's
wide
a
open.
good shout, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's very viable, and the kids, they get well trained.
Well disciplined.
Yeah,
and
well disciplined.
everything.
And especially if they've gone through cadets, because they'll be used to it. So my kids, they are at independent school, so they've got CCF inside of the school. So they're both joining up at the age of 40, because they make them be 13, 14 at that in CCF. So they'll be joining CCF, and they'll be following that path.
So they don't teach any of this woke agenda in there, do they?
Any what? Sorry, the woke stuff.
This the woke stuff.
Well, do you know what? Back then they didn't. It used to be quite tough. It used to be like the army.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of one thing, which was a bad thing, which was smoking culture back then. Because army had a big smoking culture, so it got kids like into that kind of stuff. So which was bad. But then the physical training, the exercising, when I was 15, I was in live shooting competitions, fully automatic weapons,
Brilliant.
abseiling out of helicopters. Yeah, we did all sorts of stuff.
That's
and where the hell
brilliant.
did you do that? And these were the helicopters came from former cadets who are now officers, who laid it on for us at camps. So it's really good. Like they brought Leeds helicopters
proper manly
out.
stuff.
Proper manly stuff, yeah. And there's obviously we had all the girls there as well, like doing it alongside us. Like one of my friends, Michelle, she joined the army straight away. And she had a great career in the army, and she's left now, and she lives in Birmingham. So you can make some really good connections and really good people.
That's
So
a really I never thought of that,
Yeah, you don't, because we're not really. Well, they're trying to reach out to the community. They're trying to reach out to us, and hence why I got invited down to the training academy and stuff. And it was because it's an outreach thing.
Yeah.
They use a Pakistani guy. He's actually a counsellor in Redditch, and he's a former officer. And he was trying to outreach to the Asian community in Birmingham, because people don't know these options. It's good to explore.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that then.
Yeah.
Interesting that is. Never thought.
There
of
you
that.
go.
So at least you
Every day
learn,
at school.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned that your wife was a teacher.
Yes, she still is.
She is.
Yeah, she's a teacher,
Sorry, she still is a teacher. And how does that influence your family, your house?
That's right. Yeah,
Life?
a lot. So she's a secondary school teacher. She's former. She's deputy head of science. But at the time she left her career, because she left obviously when we had kids. So in 2012 we had our first. He's born February 2013. So she left in 2012. She's doing very well in her career. She's a science specialist, and she's doing GCSE and A level. And she left, and then as soon as 2013 she started a private tuition. So connecting with kids and connecting with GCSE and A-level kids. And to be honest, it's not because she's my wife. She's actually a really good teacher, and she's really, really passionate. So since then, she's been word of mouth.
Oh, really? Now she doesn't work in school or anything?
No, not at all. Never
just
stepped
private.
in school. She is private, and she works. Like she's working today. She works yesterday. She works every weekend, every evening. So it works around my schedule. So normally I've got the kids all weekend. So I've got the day off today to be here. So, but no, it's good. But no, she's
You really meant that.
Yeah, I did. But so the kids are very fortunate, because my wife, she does keep an eye on them, what they're doing, and a lot of it, because we know ourselves. A lot of it's mindset, a lot of it's training, a lot of it's like exam prep, not being scared of exams, not being scared of questions, not kicking the ball into the long grass, thinking, I'll sort that out when the exam time comes. They get trained from an early age. So mashallah, my kids, the eldest two, they're in like, my oldest is in secondary now, second one's in year 6, and mashallah, they're doing really well. But a lot, and it's, I have to give it to my wife. It's down to her. It's down to her commitment. If she can spot where they're having issues, so she gets maths tuition in, she gets English tuition in.
Do you ever get told off when you shout at them? But it's okay for her to shout at them.
No, do you know what? We've got that relationship. So
because my wife's always shouting, "Don't shout at him," and then 2 years later
he's
she's
2,
shouting.
isn't he?
I was like,
how old is he? 2.
He's 2.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, like, it's like a bit of a here and there. And I always like, yeah. And I was like, why can? Is it okay for you to shout at him?
That'll change when he's like 10, and she's having trouble with him. Why don't you do anything?
Well, tough.
Yeah.
I did try 8 years ago.
Yeah. But no, you got to have, like, we got different relationships. So she's quite strict, and she's quite like academic side and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'll back her up.
Yeah, you
generally.
have to.
So if they step out of line, or if they're going nuts, because I've got 3 boys, so they can sometimes get a bit feisty, then they're a bit scared of me. So my voice and tone.
You need to have that father's fear in them.
That's it.
You need that, otherwise it's game over.
Exactly. So wait till I tell your dad. That's the thing. Like, I just rings me sometimes at work, goes, I'll be telling dad, and they're like, oh, don't tell dad. Like, you hear him in the background and go, I'm sorry. So it's good.
I bet it feels nice, isn't it?
Yeah. They're much like the good boys, to be fair. Like, we don't have much trouble with them. So
the boys are boys at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And my one's just getting there now. Yeah. Terrible. I don't know how this works, but before he turned 2, he was absolutely fine.
His baby.
Today he turned 2, bro. It was just like
switch.
Is that a switch or something just turned on, and then that's it? Shouting, screaming, doesn't want to sleep at night, and running around.
Wants to sleep in your bed.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, you were fine like a month ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at the moment you'll be, is your first child. Yeah. So inshallah, if you have more, you'll see. The second one's easier.
Yeah,
because you're like, this is how we found it. We found the second one easier because we knew what to deal with, and then now with the third, and we see this a lot. And I'm the youngest kid as well, so did it happen to me as well? We got a bit foot on the clutch.
Really?
Let him sleep in the bed. Let him have a PS5. Let him play Fortnite. He's only 6, but he's trying to keep up with his brothers.
Yeah,
but he's like, so you kind of relax down a little bit. And we're all, I think, and we see it everywhere. Everyone's guilty of it.
In terms of when it comes to sons or daughters, like now that you've got 3 sons, right?
Yeah.
What's the most important lesson that you want your sons to learn from you?
Do you know what it is? It's keeping their feet on the ground. We give them a very, very good balanced view on things, and they're very, they're mashallah good boys, and they're grateful for what they've got, and they're not sport rats, basically. We see it, each to their own, everyone else's teachings and stuff, and how they want to raise their kids, but we see a lot of it, and it's kind of like, you got to keep them their feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Because they might not be in a position when they're older, things might happen.
Yeah.
And then they've got to be grounded, they've got to got to have a wide cultural view, so they understand the position they've got, and like, it's not, it's Allah's given gift. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, and if whatever happens to you in life, you've got to be well prepared for it. So, just trying to teach them that, really. Teach them about charity, teach them about deen. We get so proud because my eldest leads Isha. If I'm not there, my eldest will lead the other one in Isha at night time.
It's the best thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Brilliant. I'll get, my heart so happy when I hear my wife tells me that, like, when you're out, like, Ibrahim led Isha, and I didn't even ask them. I just heard them doing it, and then they went to sleep. And it's like, and that's...
See, I always say that's the true legacy that you can leave.
Exactly.
Behind,
Yeah, that's the first thing. First thing you have to do.
Money comes and goes.
Like waves.
Materialistics comes and goes. All of that stuff comes and goes. But, knowing that your sons or your daughters, they are good on the deen, that's the best thing ever.
Exactly. Definitely.
And that is like, brings peace to you, man.
Yeah, it does. Big time. And then everything else, like I said, money comes and goes like waves. I see it all the time. I see people flashing a pan. You got a Lamborghini 1 minute, next minute, it's gone.
Yeah, now you like my Polo.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't matter. It's materialistic stuff. Like, it's good to build upon it, foundations and everything else. And sustainable business is great. And, that's what we're all trying to achieve. But it's not all about that. It's you got to have a good balanced view in your life, and you got to teach your kids the same.
I was reading. I was going through your a bit of your bio, and your sister passed away
Yeah.
in 2018.
18. Yeah.
How did that affect your family?
Oh, it's...
And the careers and everything? How did that affect the family life?
Well, she was in between me and my older sister, so she was
Okay. So
about
she was
2 years older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was the youngest. So we grew up together. Like when I was saying about being
Yeah.
a junior school, being this and that, she was always there. She had my back. She was my big sister. You know, she was quite rough and tough, so she was good. And when she grew up, she was a solicitor, so she was always there sorting our legal stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, our conveyancing. Like, yeah, we didn't have an issue with conveyancing. You should do it in 3 weeks. You know, it's just like, oh, I'll just text someone and I'll ring her up.
Awesome, man.
And it was great. And she was, to be honest, like forgetting about all the work stuff, she was centre of the family. She's the first person to wish you a happy birthday. She's the first person to be there at your party. She's the world's best holler, you know,
Yeah.
to my niece and nephews. Like, she was great, and with my parents as well. Unfortunately, at the time, she didn't have kids herself. Like, she's married, she lived in Surrey, but they weren't blessed with kids, unfortunately, themselves. So, which in hindsight is probably a good thing now, but at the time we were always a bit like disappointed and upset for her. But she wasn't blessed with kids, and it just came because it was a very sudden death. It wasn't expected at all.
What happened to her?
She went to Dubai on holiday in November, came back. She had a very, very bad chesty cough and cold, and then she just developed into kind of pneumonia type infection in January. She passed away suddenly at hospital. So, but it could have been an early form of COVID. It could have been anything really. But you know, this is written. This is from Allah. What He's the best of planners.
Yeah.
What can we say? And it was her time. So, and there's nothing that, she's in the best care. She's in the best hospital, Surrey Royal Hospital, and they couldn't do anything.
Wow.
So it's one of them things. But but it's like a cannonball to the middle of your family. That's what it felt like, because it was, it just knocked everything. It knocks all your expectations. It knocks everything. Knocks all the patterns. Like, you're not expecting that. For us, like, we've lost a sibling, but my parents have lost a daughter.
I know.
And they're supposed to go first.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well, in our mind.
in your mind, that's the plan, or
Yeah.
that's the way things happen. But so for them, I can see them. I can see how they've reacted to it. My dad's quite a strong person, so he doesn't really show it. But she was close to my dad. She was close to everyone, but she had a good relationship with my dad, so he got really affected by it. Because my dad, he's late 70s now, so he wasn't that long ago. It was like 5 years ago, so he's in his 70s. So it affected him quite badly. It affected my mother a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just a psychological effect and everything else. So it's been hard.
It must be, man. My grandma passed away a couple of years ago. Then my granddad passed away last year, I think. Yeah, I think so. Last year, I can't remember now. And it's like, they were in the 90s. They crossed 90s. It's different. But when you have a sibling which is only a couple of years older than you, and you kind of grew up together.
Because she was 38 when she passed, so I've actually outlived her. I'm 43 now, so it's crazy to think, because she's still in your mind. She's still your big sister.
Yeah. So
I've not, don't feel like I've even reached her level of maturity or her level of, the way she was. But I've outlived her. So it's yes.
Because in your mind, you're not supposed to.
No, you're not,
and you can't.
Yeah.
Because they grow older as well as you. But
it's weird, because the image that you have in your head and the pictures and stuff that you've got, like, obviously now we've got a lot of social media, got videos, got pictures, which we're grateful for. That's one good thing I'd say.
Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing? Because
both.
It's both, isn't it? You bring back memories.
Because especially with Facebook and OneDrive and all the media crap, you get reminders and you get memories.
Yeah.
Memories from 5 years ago, and she pops up on the bottom of your phone in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's just...
everything's refreshed.
Yeah, it's just refreshing your head straight away. But in a way, it's good to remember her. Yeah. Then I remember her in my doors, I remember her in the Mars and everything. So it's good to be reminded. But to be honest, it's all you've got to cling to.
Yeah.
And it's not because I remember her a lot, because I remember her my entire life. Yeah, because she was quite close to me. But my kids
grew up together. Yeah,
they're the oldest two. Met, like, they spent time with her because they were like 6, 7 when she passed away. So they've got a good memory of her. My youngest didn't even meet her because she was born 3 days before she passed away. So he was a baby.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
3 days before
she passed away. So 3 or 4 days. She born on Tuesday. She passed away on the Saturday night.
Wow!
So
look at that. God gave you one and took one.
The cycle of life.
Wow.
We see it emotional all the time. But it's so he's got no memories. He didn't know he had 2 pupils. So it's like, so we try and tell him, like, you know, now he's 6,
Yeah.
he understands.
How old is he now?
6.
6. So it's
Yeah.
been 6 years then.
Yeah, 6 years, yeah.
Wow.
It feels like yesterday when people say, oh, it's been 5 years. It's like, has it? It's crazy.
Talking about your business journey,
Yeah.
right? You have few different things cooking up. First, obviously, it's the MotorServ, and
Yeah.
I really want to, before we talk about the MotorServ, because that's your main business,
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you've got an investment in some cemeteries.
Yeah. Involvement, yeah.
Involvement, you
Yeah.
know, investment. So before we start off with, you know, what motivated you and all of that stuff, tell me a bit about why did you invest in? Because I was reading and I was like,
What the
I've
hell?
never
Yeah,
come
yeah.
across anyone.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, they're owned by the council or whatever. The
That's the
council.
thing, yeah.
So what made you think, okay, I want to invest in a cemetery?
It wasn't so much, I kind of fell into it because when I started the business, I
I hope
first
you
thing we
don't
did.
literally fall into it, but
Yeah, you will at one point in your life, but you know, yeah, I didn't fall into it like that. But it was I started in business in 2006, and we ran finance business basically. So that's what I kind of felt like that I kind of like naturally progressed into from university, and because I knew a lot about cars, I've always grown up around cars, so it was my biggest knowledge base. So people started asking me questions about that. So I ran the finance business for the first kind of 4 years of my career, and then we hit the recession. 2008, 2009, 2010, it was awful. So the finance business kind of died a death on the spot because all the banks shut, basically. All the banks shut the department, so it was overnight, just switched off. So we were kind of like, oh, what should we do? And at the time, we had a client of my father's, a big property guy who lives in Warsaw, so a local guy, Pakistani guy, and then he was just land banking. He used to buy sites, land bank them up like for future residential, future commercial use. And he had a farm, basically a farm site, and he bought it, and he was trying to get housing on there, trying to like do something. Not really that much planned. He just saw it cheap, and he bought it through his kind of property funding, and he bought it, and then he's a bit like stuck for what to do with it. So the idea was kind of spun because my dad was involved with the mosque. Every year the prices go up for the plots. And it's kind of a routine. Birmingham City Council, all the councils put the prices up. They inform everyone. Then there's a bit of like argument in the community. Then there's like, you can't do anything about it. So everyone just calms down, and it just gets accepted. And that's it. So it's a bit of annual. Used to be an annual thing that went on. So my dad kind of gave, basically they had a discussion about this land. He said, why don't you try for cemetery? And he did. And this isn't an overnight thing. It took him 8 years to get the planning permission. It's not easy. It's harder than housing now.
wow,
Very, very difficult because it is, as you said, local authority controlled in the UK. It's not a private enterprise on the main. So local authorities control it. They provide for it. But the thing is with the local authorities, their general population planning, they've been lobbying for cremations since the 1910s, 1920s. So they've been lobbying their communities just to accept cremation. And they're up to 80, 90% acceptance rate now. So from their community planning perspective since the 60s, they don't need cemeteries because everyone's going to be cremated. And then, but here we all come along on our banana boats and on our planes, and we're all like, we only want 100% burials, we only want this, we only want that. And like Romanians that are coming in now, the new wave, the populations, we talked about it before, 30% Birmingham is ethnic minority, it's us, it's Asians. So we've tipped the scale. And what was happening, up until about, I'd say 5-6 years ago, we were repatriating to our country of origin. So when the deceased pass away, they go back to Pakistan, they go back to India, they go back to Bangladesh. It's standard PIA flight. You go and do janaza. Where's the next point? Birmingham Airport, Heathrow Airport. 50 people going with the body to Pakistan, go and do the janaza, go and do the burial in your family village in the graveyard. Yeah. That switched. There's been a switch in the community where a lot more people have been buried here now. Yeah, because they've now because they're third generation in the UK now, so it's always going to happen. Third, fourth generation in the UK, they're now being buried here. So the consumption rate of our Muslim community plots within the local authority sites is going exponentially. Just take a walk around Handsworth, and take a walk around Newhall.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
See Newhall here, Sutton.
Yeah, brand new. 5 years ago.
Brand new. Yeah, my grandma's buried here, and my granddad.
Yeah.
And when my grandma was got buried here, it was like literally empty.
Yeah.
And now, it's just like, whoa.
We've got an ageing population. The immigrants that came in the 50s, 60s, they're passing away now, unfortunately. Like your dear grandparents, and it's happening and people have been buried here. Your grandparents, they've been buried here. They haven't been taken back to country of origin, have they?
Yeah.
So, and that's what's happening. So the population here is burgeoning. We need more plots. The local authorities haven't really thought it through, like for the future planning, and they've thought we're going to cremate everyone anyway, but we can't. We're 100% burial rate. The Jewish 100% burial rate. Catholics 100% burial rate. There's a lot of communities that only bury, so there's a shortage, and the local authorities, they can't fix potholes in the roads. True. These sites are massive. These sites are big planning. Like we're lucky, Birmingham Council sorted out Newhall. Solihull have extended Whitney Manor, so there's certain area, but there's shortages like in Croydon, London, Tower Hamlets in London, out of space. Reading's about to run out of Muslim plots. Wow. So it's not so much Birmingham, but there are pronounced areas in the UK. So Gardens of Peace in Essex was the first Muslim site, first Muslim on a commercial scale, and they've had demand for more all around London, all around the UK. They filled it rapidly, so they're on the second extension now. So it is a massive need. The need's only going to get more over time because the population, each family have now got 3-4 kids, mashallah, and then each one of those is going to have a household. Each one of those is going to have. We're turning one house that we had in the 70s is now 15, 20 houses. Yeah. Just in our own families. So that's the way population growth goes. So it's going to be a need for the future. So when this guy kind of did the planning permission for it, I got kind of roped in because we're a bit free. Yeah. Oh, could you help him with the admin? Could you help him with the sales side? Help him with the fundraising? Do this and that? Yes, community projects. Then the mosque got involved because they've got a future need. They've got a funeral service. They know what's going on in the community. So as soon as the mosque got involved, I got kind of shoved in there as a bit of a...
You're part of this.
Checker. Like, I've got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, obviously... And then my father invested. My father's clients invested. So the site was kind of formulated on the back of that. But just as we thought, the politics around it, the site opening, the site road in front of it, it has to have a road traffic island, and the highways have made it impossible. Really? Yeah, like hundreds of thousands of pounds have gone on it, and they're trying to basically stop the project. But that's what it feels like. But the guy had to kind of he had to throw the towel in. So now we've taken it to corporate, so corporate building. So we've got a corporate financer helping us with it. So moving it forward. So
why is it everything made so difficult?
It's just because, to be honest, there's a lot of regulations around it, because you've got a lot of environmental risks, you've got a lot of water risks, it's all valid. Yeah, you've got to be careful where you put these sites for. It's horrible to think about it, but it's the bodies will disappear into the ground. So over time, we're going to go back to dust. Yeah, that's our religious teachings as well. So where it goes back into dust, you can't have water near there, you can't have this near there, you can't have population near it. So it's very selective for the sites. They're very careful where they allow these sites. So it's good, but we know the planning permission's all there. It's being built out now. It's going to be a couple of years till it's open, and then that will. At the moment, we're not sure if it'll be 100% Muslim or it's going to have like multi-faith sections. Half. It depends on demand. But whenever the site's open, we'll have to review it at that point. But we're trying to sort that out. So that's how I kind of got involved in it. And then I got a lot of expertise in it now, because I had to research the hell out of it. I had to learn all about it, the laws, regulations, etc. So I got invited to help on another site, and then I got invited on another site in Surrey. And then the one in Surrey, I've actually taken over 3 acres of it. So I've got 2,500 plots down there, which I've launched as a Muslim site. That's recent. And it's kind of like, and to be honest, it's from my perspective, it's land. It's a use of land. Like, we're not involved in funeral services. We're not involved in the actual burials. We have a burial team. We have landscapers. We have gardeners who look after the site. It's just for us sorting out the planning permission, sorting out the allocations, the design, and then putting it out to the market, or putting it out to the public, and then through the different channels. And then, to be honest, we're not. It's a bit weird because, like you said, we're not there for like sales. Yeah. It's just as and when. So we're not that fussed by it. So if it sits there, it'll be. There's only 2 things in life that are guaranteed: death and taxes. So and the population numbers in London and Surrey are even higher. The exponential growth is massive. So are they going to be used in the future? Of course they are. Yeah. So whenever people need them, they're there for them. And in Birmingham, it would be a similar kind of thing. So the plots will be available. It'll be one of the largest sites, private sites in the UK. It's 36 acres, so it's like 32,000 plots. So it's a big site. That's why it's taking so long, because it's a big site.
huge.
It's massive.
I thought it was small. I thought it was
No,
meant
no.
to be
This
small.
is it's a major project. It's
Wow.
8 million spend just to get it open. That's why it's too big that's why it's too big for us. So we've had to get a corporate in to back it up. So it's a major project. So that's why it's taking so long.
32,000 plots.
Yeah, minimum.
That's like,
Yeah.
how many are they in Handsworth?
There's a lot in Handsworth. Handsworth's been open a long time. I think there's more in Handsworth.
Is there?
Yeah, I think it's 50, 60,000, I think.
Wow.
Because on the acreage, so it depends how big the site was.
Yeah.
It's very old, so
It is very old
to
yeah.
get, hard to get data. So
Wow.
it's a very interesting. It wasn't something that I thought I was going to fall into, but it kind of helped because I've got a property background. I've done a lot of property in my life with my father, like on my own, off my own back. So it was good. It's opened a lot of doors. I've met a lot of people through it. Massive number of people, and they're quite high level people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about the motivation of your first business in 2005, right? So what motivated you? So okay, I want to start business, and what was it? What was your first ever business?
Because my dad was a accountant, surrounded by SMEs my entire life. So pretty much, I wouldn't like to say all of them, but a large percentage of the restaurant population in Birmingham from the early days in the Balti Triangle, etc.,
Right.
were my dad's clients.
Okay.
So we used to go to restaurants every week, pretty much, like, because my dad had like business for that guy.
You ain't paid your bill. We're coming down with the
No,
family.
it'd be more like, can you come down so we can give you the paperwork? Can you come down? We've got this question, like, come down, have dinner on Thursday, and so then we'd kind of tag along. So it'd be good. So no, it's good. So we used to know all the SMEs. So surrounded by them, and all my dad's friends that we used to see on the weekends and this and that. They own this business, they own that business. So for me, it was like natural.
Yeah.
This is the way. Yeah, this is the way
Life.
people. This is what people do.
Yeah.
You have a taxi company, you have a restaurant, you have a printing company, you have whatever. So I was always going to be self-employed. It's kind of the route I was going to go down. Whether or not I was going to take over my father's firm or...
What was your father's firm?
It's M. Hasnain, co-accountants in Birmingham. So it's near the Central Mosque. He was there from 1978.
Wow.
So a long time. Well, he's in the business in 1974 and then in Goose Street, which is behind the Central Mosque, since 1978. So well established. One of the first, because there's about 4 or 5 back then.
Yeah.
So one of the first kind of founding group of accountants over the years, and it opened up a lot of networking opportunities.
So how come you didn't go into?
I did. My background is finance, and I did business finance degree. When I worked for quite a few companies in the finance departments, and then I got summoned to Birmingham after my graduation.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? You know, you're the only son. You know, it's all yours if you want. And I went. And to be honest, it was because I've been put in big companies. I worked in central finance offices. I've done this and that. I couldn't get my head into it. Doing payroll, VAT.
No.
It was just killing me. My brain was really
frying
dead.
for no reason.
Yeah. I was just like, so I couldn't do it. And I used to do payroll. I used to go and do bookkeeping. Some clients I used to do this and that. I gave it a good try.
Yeah.
I was doing my ACCA in a rapid fashion. Went through the first stage, going into second stage, and then the car finance stuff, the sourcing of cars, this and that. I remember, because I was doing it anyway, because people were asking me. It's more like, you say, if you ask me, I'll just go, yeah, I'll sort you out with a few connections. I'll do this, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I wouldn't charge you anything, wouldn't charge this and that, but then I started getting coincidental, basically, because we're putting the business into the banks, putting the business into the dealerships.
Yeah.
They'd pay you.
Oh, right.
I didn't.
Okay.
I was just
like
like,
a referral
okay.
fee. kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So they'd be like, we want to pay you something. It's like, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, just do the check in my name and send it across. And then my dad opened the post one day, because he used to be obviously Mr. Saleem on the post, so it wasn't like he's opened my post. He opened it, and it's a check from, like, I don't know, Lombard, 600 quid. And at the time I was earning, I think, £950 net from the salary. So it was like, what the hell? What's this? yeah, it's like 3/4 of your salary. What are you doing? And then that's when
Are you
I was
selling
like,
drugs, son?
yeah, exactly. Well, he was. You're getting paid by the bank. So, like, well, what's this? And then so I told him, and he was like, so how many clients? I went, we've done quite a few now. And he's like, you set up with, like, basically I've got setups with, like, a number of banks. Got setups, like, I've got my credit consumer license because I made me get it. So did this and that. And he's just like,
fair enough.
Just do that. Like, just do that. Like, basically, and you get, so my limited company, the first one, is actually the same name as the accountancy. Because he literally just went, we've got this company limited sitting on the side, just dormant, because we just reserve the name. There you go, stick on as director on that, run it through that. And that's been my company since.
Ever
since 2005.
Oh,
so we're actually just changing them at the moment and just start restructuring them because of the sizes and stuff and different departments. But that's been the same company since that day.
That's amazing, that is.
Yeah. So I kind of fell into it and then it's kind of grew. And then I always had the motivation to do it. I wanted to do my own thing, develop my own, like the car financing, I was doing my own thing.
So with MotorServ, you do car financing as well?
No, this was before MotorServ. This is before the existence of MotorServ.
So I want a car, but I want an interest-free car.
That's the thing. Lease is the only way you can do it. Well, buy one for cash. But even then, it's not, because we say this, like if you buy a car for cash, it's depreciating. So it's costing you every year.
It's pointless.
Yeah.
Buying a car now on cash is pointless.
It's people that say, I bought a car for cash. It's like, it is an achievement because you haven't got finance, so you haven't got monthlies on it. But it's still a depreciating asset. So you bought a car for 30 grand. It's like, because I always say it, so you bought a car for 30 grand. You're going to sell it in 4 years' time for 15. 15,000 loss divided by 48. That's your monthly cost.
Yeah.
But instead of the bank funding it, you funded it.
Yeah.
So you're your own bank. So you already do your own cash. So, and again, obviously you've got to pay interest on the bank's money, etc., etc. So the actual net cost will be less for you. But just lease the bugger.
It's easier, and you're not gonna keep it for more than 4 or 5 years.
You don't want it. You can't nowadays because they're not designed to be kept that long.
Yeah,
they're disposable now. So it's it's different. Yeah,
it's a different market
that,
now. So, what are your leadership skills? Like your style? How do you motivate your team?
Well, it's like the army. No, it's not. I wish it was. It'd be a lot easier then. But no, it's not. It's hard. It's very hard. Actually, I didn't know because when I first started,
how many people have you got now?
24.
24.
Yeah, at the moment. I had like 32 before with sales, but it's...
how do you keep them motivated?
Well, my first 2 employees were my mates.
Right.
They're my mates from the nursery school. So I knew them my whole life. And one of them was in the cadets with me, so he's my number 2 in the cadets.
Right, okay.
Throughout the entire thing. So we were just used to it. So that was, this is easy, this is all right.
Yeah.
When I opened the garage, I actually started employing technicians, different types of people, technicians, drivers, service consultants. It was like, oh my God, it's Pandora's box. So recruiting people you don't know.
Yeah.
Judging, like you've got like a limited amount, you've got CV, you've got a limited amount of time to interview and go through the processes, and then how's this person going to be good or not? And you know it yourself, you run your own businesses, and it's like, I had a lot of miss-hits. I had some really good ones. I've had people from day one who's still with me now, and Simon, he's with me for like 17 years. So I've had some really good guys, really, really big part of the business. But I've had people that have lasted a day. I've had people do the interview, get offered, not even turn up.
Really?
Yeah, the mentality of people is just ridiculous now. It's like you go through if we need certain types of employees, we employ 3 to get 1. Because we know that one's gonna not turn up, one's gonna drop out after a week, and then we'll end up with the one best one.
So how hard is working for you then? That's the question.
It sounds bad, doesn't it? People don't turn up. No, it's motor trade. Yeah, no, it's motor trade. It's unfortunate. It's a fortunate thing. It's happening across the board, and at the moment, the last couple of years, it got worse.
Has it?
Yeah, it's got worse.
Well, just for you or for the
entire it's just me. It's the entire industry. You're hearing it all over the place. There's no loyalty. People are paying thousands of pounds for people to leave their posts and just start immediately, like basically sign-on bonuses. Jaguar Land Rover were sucking up a lot of technicians last year because their production went through the roof. So they were sucking up a lot of technicians in Solihull and surrounding. So a lot of people were being headhunted by them privately through LinkedIn. And then there's a big vacuum. There's a big vacuum of technicians. And less people, I believe, at the moment, joining colleges and joining people to become a motor technician than there is demand right now in the market. Because, the market's changing. We're going through the biggest change in automotive history since the horse and cart, I'd say.
Is that because of
EVs?
Electric cars.
Yeah, electric cars, hybrid cars.
So I was watching that. I was telling you earlier. I was watching the Jaguar thing
Yeah.
and VW, BMW, and Mercedes.
Yeah.
I think they've closed a lot of factories as well.
Well, they're going to be. Yeah. They're trying to cut down. It's just going through turbulence, and they're going through a real Jaguar. Look at Jaguar. They've withdrawn all their vehicles. Done. Well, it's because the new tariffs on cars.
I mean, but the new advert.
Yeah, that's quite strange. But no, but say that. But because someone said this to me, because I came out on Facebook going, "What the hell is this? Like, this is
and I
ruined the
commented,
brand." Yeah.
I saw a Jag right now.
Yeah, that's it. And but we were talking about it. So from a marketing point of view, it's genius. The anticipation of what they're actually going to bring out now. Like who talks about Jaguar normally? The problem is no one does. No one.
True.
Used to be an aspirational vehicle, and I don't know, over the years it's become just a Jag.
It's become a Jag, but it's that new brand. What do you think of that new
That's
logo?
what I mean. Like, we're going to see what happens with it because, it's a changing world.
Do you reckon it's going to do better for the company?
Depends on the car. Depends what they launch. But the thing is, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be over 100k.
But isn't that the influence of the whole woke agenda, the kind of thing? Don't you think it's a lot of all of that based in it? Where was I reading it somewhere? I was watching it.
He, him thing, she, hers.
Yeah, all of that nonsense.
Yeah. It's, we call it nonsense. Is it the new world?
But
I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's a majority. So that's the problem they've got. But it's got everyone talking anyway. So from a marketing perspective, like worldwide, it's got people talking.
How do you handle challenges then in the automotive market?
It's difficult because they're big. They're big moves. They're always big moves,
aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
so when you had
a car, when you've got a
shortage,
car sitting there,
yeah,
you can't just be like, all right, you know what, forget this car. We're getting
thousands of pounds.
There's thousands of pounds sitting there.
This is a problem we've had because the market last year is like everyone came into work on the first week of January 2023, and just because the interest rates had gone up, quarter four 22, we were getting obviously the cost of living crisis was increasing, so all the utilities were going up, everything was going up, and it felt like October, November, December pretty normal. 22 starting to get a bit quieter, but usually does for Christmas. This is on the car sales, and then January 23 is like someone turned the tap off. Like, not, do you know what? No one's going to buy cars in 23. It's just not fashionable anymore. And then we went from like doing 35, 40 cars a month, max doing between 30 and 60 cars a month. So, and it was growing. It was growing every year. It's growing rapidly. It's going bananas, to be fair. We're having to control it. We're having to like get more people in. And then 23 went down to like 8 in January, 12 in February, 10 in March, I think it was.
No.
So we literally quartered 75% drop.
What?
Yeah, and there was nothing, and we were marketing the hell out of the cars. We were doing all our Facebook videos, doing this and that, and it's just no one's biting. And it wasn't just us; it was across the market, and everyone was saying, "Oh, don't worry, it'll pick up."
From 60 cars to 10 cars.
To 8 in January. 23, and it's like, and we've got 17 stock, and we've got stock funding, we've got cash flow on those, we've got expenses on those, we've got buildings, we've got Auto Trade. Auto Trade is charging us 15 grand a month. The overheads are huge in the car sales.
Wow.
So
I never thought of that.
Yeah, you got warranties going out on every vehicle. You got comebacks coming from vehicles you've already sold because consumer rights are so tight. It's a difficult market to work in.
Dude, I never ever thought of that,
Yeah. It's massive costs, and the holding costs, the insurance costs.
Sometimes I think I've got it bad with all of this. And when you listen to other people and other people's problems, you think, actually, I'm not so bad. Exactly. I just need to sort myself out.
Wait, somebody's just thinking, you got to look at people in a worse situation than yourself to be grateful.
Honestly.
Yeah. And I hear things, people have got like, we've got a lot of overheads, we've got a lot of expenses, and we can get into trouble quite quickly. But we've also got the big upside. We can also turn it around quite quickly. We've also got 6 figures that we can get just in a marketing boost.
Yeah.
And then that kind of pays that down, and that's what we're kind of riding on. But then I hear about people that got millions. They got millions a month. They got millions every month in overheads, and they get into trouble. Like, the market changes. Like, look at the big retailers. Look at Wilco.
I know.
Like the old Woolworths. Like, look at Homebase went a couple of months ago, and it's like, I can't even remember the amount that are going at the moment. But they've been around a long time, and there are millions and millions and millions of pounds involved, hundreds of staff involved, and they just.
Overnight is just
overnight. Basically becomes unfeasible.
Yeah.
So you can't, as soon as they see that it's unfeasible, they're looking at the projections, and it's like, every time. The one thing which, this is the bugbear, I don't get it. Why do they keep putting the minimum wage up?
I don't know.
Why do they keep putting the minimum wage up?
You know what I say?
It just screws everyone.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody in the gym, and I says, if they kept the minimum wage where it is,
the pricing's out the market,
right? Yeah. And lower the tax slightly.
Yeah.
Income tax. I'm telling you, everyone would be happier.
It'd be fine. It's because people are going to be happier. So the vast majority, work.
They got more money in their account.
But then the prices go up.
because everything is relevant. As soon
Exactly.
as the wage goes up,
Everything, your price
everything
have to go
goes up because the tax is percentage based.
Yeah,
So that's
tax
you can
percentage
do
up,
whatever
which
you
is
want.
the ultimate government return.
And as soon as the wage goes up, okay, I'm putting the prices up here. I'm putting the prices up there.
Yeah.
I'm putting the price up there.
Our services go up by £5.
There you go. So who wins?
The government on the tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
But then it puts a lot of businesses out of business straight away because
Exactly.
when they did that price increase in March, April for the budget, and then they did, obviously second
and it's
budget
every
announcement
freaking year.
every year, and it's like, but there's massive increase.
Yeah.
Like our valeting jobs used to be like the minimum wage used to be about 18, 19 grand. It's 26 grand now. Unskilled workers, full time. Yeah, it's a skilled job because it's difficult to do. You have to stand outside
Washing
all
a
that,
car, man.
washing the cars, driving around. You've got to be quite organised. You've got to be quite switched on. But so it's relatively, but it's you don't need qualifications to do it.
Yeah.
You just need a bit, job experience. You need vehicle
Yeah,
experience.
you need a
like,
bit of sense to it.
It basically sense
Yeah.
and clean license stuff like that. So there's a few tick boxes, but it's not a prohibitive job. Everyone
Yeah.
can apply for it. But it's the minimum wage. But because they're working full time, it's 26k.
6 grand to
And
wash
it's
a
like,
car.
to wash a car?
Let me
Yeah.
know if you've got any jobs.
We have. We always have. But yeah, it's
I'll do it for 25.
yeah.
I'll undercut.
Sorry, you'd be below minimum wage. We can't do it.
Oh shit. Yeah.
But no, that's the market for you now. So which I don't get because, like for us, we've also got 25 staff, up to 30 staff at any one time.
Wow.
But what about people who've got hundreds?
I know.
And they have, and home bases, all these retail shops, everything. And if the margins aren't there, and you just suddenly, because the price difference of 50p an hour across
Dude,
thousands
50p
of staff,
is a lot.
boom, like it's now gone from like making break even slightly into profit.
And now you're
into
paying minimum wage to, what is it, 11 something now? 11.40 now
Yeah.
coming up? Right? Something like that, right? 11.
I just let the payroll sort it out. I don't want to look because it makes me feel sick. So whatever it is.
So I think it's 11.40 coming up now. Now you have to pay a 22 plus 11 something.
Yeah.
22-year-olds they're not even serious about life. I'm telling you, people, I don't mind paying the minimum wage to somebody who's serious about work, who's got a responsibility. Before it was above 27? Was it 25,
ages,
25, 25 or something like
it
that?
was before, yeah.
You're a bit more responsible, you got a bit of head on you. But now, bro, 22-year-olds is still a kid. They come in, mess about, and expect to be paid a minimum wage, which is what, 11, 12 pound an hour, whatever it is. And you think, dude, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
They don't even know
It's
how
difficult.
to talk.
Yeah.
And it's just madness.
It is.
Madness. But your passion for cars, right?
Yeah.
When did that start, and how did that influence MotorServ?
It was my passion for cars was all my dad's friends, it was all my dad's clients at the time when I was a kid.
Seems like it's all your dad's fault.
It is. It's my dad's fault. It's my dad's exposure at the time. Like basically, but I remember back in days, all the uncles used to have Mercedes 230Es and 500 SELs and this and that. And he's like, wow, who's got the biggest Merc basically, and who's got the nicest Merc, who's got the newest Merc, and so that's what I kind of grew up around. And it just kind of went from there. Then it's always
What was your first car?
My first car was, I drove my mum's. My mum had a brand new Ford Escort company car. It was our own company, but it was a fleet car.
Yeah.
So I had that. So I was 17, driving around a 1.6 16 valve brand new Escort. It was all right until I crashed it. And then which is probably inevitable. And then it wasn't my fault. Someone drove into me, but because I was 17, driving a 1.6 litre 16 valve. It's quite a fast, it was about
for the
15
time,
grand, I think the car was. I was driving my mum's car then, because I used to pay for it myself, because my dad taught me.
Yeah.
It basically made us get jobs, so my big sisters had jobs, and I had a job when I was 16, so I was working at, my first job was at Curry's in the warehouse, like with the old Dixons, whatever they're called now, Comet. And then
Comet?
Comet, Curry's,
Oh,
Dixons,
shit, yeah, I remember
them?
Comet.
Yeah.
Comet, PC World.
PC World. It's Curry's PC World now, yeah. So
Yes,
Curry's is still around.
yeah.
So I worked at Curry's in Sears Retail Park in Solihull. First, my Christmas job when I turned 16, and it was the warehouse stuff, so moving the TVs, moving the boxes around.
Wow.
It was alright, it was a good laugh. And then learned from there, really. So when I was at college, I had a job. So I worked at McDonald's for 6 months, and now that's one of Doug Wright's sites in Solihull. So learned a lot there, to be fair. So I had a lot of jobs when I worked at cinemas, so then I started doing websites for people.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I'll always be doing
Always
stuff.
doing something.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
doing something.
Always doing, selling stuff on eBay. And I got into property when I started helping my dad with his properties when I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was 17, as soon as I got my driving license, I was going around doing stuff. Got to go and clean that one, and got to go and sort the tenancy out for that one. Got to drop the keys for this one. So I became my dad's dog's body.
Man.
Yeah, and then running around everywhere, because he was at work, he's quite busy. So it's I go to Coventry, do this, go there, do this, meet that estate agent. So I was getting quite involved from a young age.
That's really good.
Yeah, and then I learned about mortgages, the percentage rates and stuff, what the market was like at the time. And then it's just it's easy back then. It used to just be vendor discount, zero deposit, bang, you buy a property. So we're buying 10, 15 at a time, selling them.
Really?
So yeah, it's easy. Back
now
then,
it's
it
so
was,
difficult. I mean, I got my first house, and
probably because people messed around so much back then.
It's Asians, isn't it, bro? Simple as that. Not people.
We
it's
overcooked the
Asians.
market. Yeah.
They see the problem or they see the loophole.
Loophole.
They
Bang.
all go for it.
Because we're saying we're doing that. We had clients doing blocks of 250 apartments, buying them for 25, 30% discounts, knocking them out a 15% discount to their clients, making £1 million, £1.5 million quid on the block, in back-to-back sales.
Back then.
Back to back, and that was
back
easy.
then, bro.
Back then.
£1 million back then.
Massive. And then rolling on to doing 5 sites that time. Big players. And it's so we were minuscule compared to those guys, but there's a lot of movements back then, a lot of property movements, and it was a good market.
Most of it was all cash as well.
Well, most of it was no cash. You mean most of it was mortgages? Yeah, it's no deposits.
Oh, as in when you sell and this, that, the other, and all that stuff.
It was utilising the mortgage market because they do vendor discounts, they do 0% deals, they self-cert.
Wow.
And so self-certing on 200 apartments, self-certing on this. You wouldn't get anywhere near it today. The diligence now is on top.
Bro, I'm telling you, I bought one house.
Yeah.
And it was just nightmare, bro.
Yeah.
Nightmare, because there's such and such problem happened with this and that. I could have got it done in 2 months, not a problem. But because of one thing from the seller, it dragged over nearly 7 months.
Wow.
It came to a point where I was just can't be asked with this house anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't want it. If it goes through, fine. If not, not interested.
Yeah.
Because I've just put off it.
Yeah.
And then the last minute, it just kind of went through and everything. I was like,
and you just gone all right.
Because I started looking at other places as well. So I'm not waiting around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no point.
It's difficult. We're seeing it all the time. Even where I live now, my next door neighbour, it took 6 months to get his mortgage through. And it was legit. Sale, and it's a residential sale, and they live there now, and it's took them 6 months to get the mortgage through. And we've had a deal going through for over a year now because it's a specialist sale, and specialist sale with specialist lenders, they take 3 months to give a decision. So he's been through 3 lenders now, so it's taking 9 months. And when we've got people, obviously we've got deals ongoing, and they don't believe it. They're like, "Oh no, you're just wasting time." So, seriously, the deal's taking that long because it's specialist area, specialist lend, and we can't do anything about it. There's 3 lenders in the UK that'll look at it.
Oh, bloody
and you're in their hands.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't deal with these professional people. Honestly, I cannot deal with professional.
I think since COVID, since the return to work, since all this stuff, it's been even more difficult.
Everyone's just become lazy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants.
Well, regulations up across the board. The regulations that are coming in on everything. It's the banking industry. I was talking to someone last week, and it's the digital, because they're saying the digital banks are becoming a lot more stringent now. Okay. It's just Starling just got fined massively by the FCA
for
being relaxed. So they're all tightening up the belts now. They're all tightening up processes. They're putting accounts under review because we've got a one-side account and it got put under review. And we were up in arms. What the hell are you doing? Why are you putting, because we've got nothing. We don't do international trade. We don't do cash. It all goes through the bank transfers with very low risk. Oh, we're having to review a lot of accounts, and it's done like that, one day.
See, we were up in arms over it. Like that.
Yeah, but it's why? And so then we found out that it's because they've been fined massively for breaches in regulations, breaches in process. So now that everyone's tightening the belts. So just to open an account, because we're waiting for an account to open with Barclays at the moment. It's taken 3 weeks so far. And so back in the day, it'd be open the next day.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
And we're previous customers. We've got a long-standing history with the bank, and it's why can't we open up another bank account? It's you can. It's not a problem. It's just we've got to go through all this process. We've got to go through all this paperwork, and it's just regulation.
Nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for it.
Again, the reasons probably our own people messing about.
No comment.
But you know, you're quite big in community and networking. I wanted to touch upon a bit of the networking and how networking has improved your business of MotorServ.
Yeah.
You know, how does that, what's the word I'm looking for? Shaped your business approach, networking?
Network's a massive part of what we do.
Because how many times do you sell a car after a networking?
It's not so much. We used to sell cars after networking, then, or not straight. Yeah, they know of you, and then they'd be looking at your stock, and then because they might not be changing immediately, it might be changing in a year. But it's more like service area is everyone needs car service, everyone needs an MOT, everyone needs something. So it becomes you got to look at the longer game. Yeah. So by networking, you're not getting anything there and then. You're not looking for it really. You're just looking for relationships. You're looking for stuff like, well, how am I here today? Yeah. And then people that will see this, like different market, different people will see it. I came to you guys because you've seen me through networking. You've seen me through different community groups already, and it just goes from one to another. It's like a snowball effect. So I've ended up like, I think if you haven't done one already, you might be doing one. Abid Khan from Chutney and Chat. Yeah. He's massive networker. Yeah, he's Mr. Birmingham basically, and he's the network that he's got, the amount of connections that I've made, the amount of good friends I've made through that, he himself included, and then the trade that we get off that. So we go to Highfield Insurance for our insurance, and they help us out. We're good customers of theirs, and then the amount of customers we got off there, the amount of customer we give to people. We've recruited through there. I met our old marketing manager Zoe. He came through that network.
Zoe.
Sadiq, the Zoe show.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I met him through Abid's network. So it was, and then the Chamber of Commerce, and then the IOD, and then I've met MP through there. So it's been really instrumental. So it's great because when you're in business, it's obviously you need the customers, but you need help as well. You
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, you might hit a problem, and then someone else in the community can help you. They've got expertise in that. They've got knowledge in that. Yeah, there's so many in Abid's network. So many lawyers, all different types. You've got HR, you've got there's Omar Rashid, and you've got Neelam Afzal, part of who I've met through there. They're both HR specialists. Yeah. Then you've got like Ash, she's a family law specialist. So, and then like people like Sajid Hussain, property guy. He's massive in the property guy.
Cameron, the
Kamran Sheikh.
Kamran Saleem.
Oh, Kamran Saleem.
The car expert.
Yeah, I like to think so. But the other guy, Kamran Sheikh, Morgan Rich Accountants, and so there's people. Amina, she's your accountant. Yeah. Amina Hussain, she's part. I met her through Chutney. She was the president of the Chambers, time, Asian Chambers last year, and now she's part of the bigger chambers now. I think international chambers.
Yes. Yeah. We've just they've just set up this Asian business board. Yeah. With the British Heart Foundation.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I've been part of that, and I was just like
championing that. Yeah.
How did I, become part of this thing? But alhamdulillah, I'm really humbled to be asked to come on board. So.
But it's through that connection, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's through connections. Is it important in this day and age as a businessman or as a business to be seen in networking events, or one or two is enough?
If you get the right ones, you only need one or two. But do you know what? It depends on your business, because I know loads of people who are hermits because they sell B2B. They sell across Europe. They don't need to be known. They operate like from a little single office because that's all they need. And they're multimillionaires.
Because the thing is, like, I see a lot of these networking events happening. And I said this on my Facebook as well. There's like a lot of
5 or 6 big ones that you know of.
Yeah, there's a lot of networkings happen. But you see the same faces in all of those.
Oh, no, but you can't just meet someone once. You develop the relationships after multiple meets.
And but then you see the same people in those.
But you enhance that relationship. No, but the thing is, over the years, you get more people coming. You get new people. Like last night, I was at the Asian Business Chamber of Commerce Awards in Birmingham at the ICC, and people are commented saying about 80% of the room is new.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of new faces there. So you had the crew,
Yeah,
usual, like obviously the board, and you got the very
the
regular
handful
people.
of people.
Yeah, that's it. But then there's a lot of new people. And the guy sat next to me, he's a new guy. I met him, made a connection with him. I had messages already this morning off him. He's a doctor in Birmingham, and there's a few family connections in the background.
Oh,
and he's
good. Is he buying a car?
He's a new guy.
Is he?
Not yet.
Well,
But he's a very good customer for cars. So, that's how the relationships, but it won't be now. It might be in 6 months, might be in 12 months' time.
Another year
But
or so,
it'd be a client, or he might come to me for something else. I've met so many solicitors on the Chutney and Chat group.
Are you going to be there next week?
The 11th,
Chutney
the
Chat.
annual.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's 11th, Wednesday
right?
the 11th.
Yeah, you're going to
it's
be
the
there. 'Cause
annual Chutney and Chat 9-year anniversary
Yeah.
black tie ball.
Yeah.
So if you haven't,
So we are coming to that one.
yeah, that would
I've
be a
never
big
been to a
event.
Chutney and Chat.
Have you not? This
Ever.
is a special one though. This
That's
is a
what
big
I
one.
thought.
Yeah, you got to come. Yeah, definitely. But you'll see you see the network there, you see the people there. There'll be a lot of people there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there will be.
If Abid's throwing a party, then
His annual Christmas one's always big.
he's here. He's
Yeah.
just messaging me.
Is he?
He's like, yeah, he goes, I'm here.
Yeah.
So I'm just finishing off with
Yeah.
with Cam.
Yeah.
Take seat inside. Before we finish off,
Yeah.
I want to talk about or give some advice for the young people. Right now, there's a couple of questions. I want to maybe if you want to, I'll ask you all the questions.
Yeah.
And we can just round it off as
Cool.
as a whole thing.
Okay, sounds good.
Number one,
Yeah.
what's your advice for young people balancing tradition and ambition? Right.
Okay.
Number two, how can young entrepreneurs navigate cultural expectations? Right, because you're Asian, you can only do certain things, not necessarily. And number three, what's a mistake you've learned from, and how can others avoid it? I mean, you can answer just the one of them, or
Okay. No, I got it. It's difficult questions, good questions. It's I think I'm a good example of that, like balancing your cultural ties and business ambition. It's difficult. It's very difficult, but then it's not as well, because nowadays it's become, like you said, you run a halal business here, out to the market, out to the community, so people have got choice, and then now there's a lot more cultural diversity in Birmingham, especially like in most cities in the UK, so it's easier to do that now.
Very easy.
Chutney and Chat network is testament to that. It's huge, diverse.
I remember when he started it.
It's tiny. It was upstairs in Pranzo, about 15 people.
Yeah, I remember nine years ago when he started.
2015, 16, yeah.
Chutney and Chat.
Because the first one I went to was 2016, and then they'd been about three or four by then. Yeah. So it's starting to build. So when I went, it was quite a lot of people there. But we've got a lot more, like everywhere you go now, you've got halal meat. You've got Asian businesses. You've got Asian businesses doing it. It's not just the taxi companies and the takeaways now. We're in everything.
We are.
So there's cultural integration into a lot of stuff. So balancing ambition and culture is a lot easier now. There's a lot more mentors around. There's a lot more people to talk to. Yeah, just come to Chutney and Chat. Yeah, you meet mentors there. You meet people there. Been in business for like 10 years.
I hope you are getting paid for this.
No, I'm not. But no, do you know what? I'm very grateful for it.
Chutney and Chat.
No, it's very good.
We'll tell him outside.
Yeah, you should. And but you got others. You got SMBF. You got because Chutney and Chat I'm plugged because it's been a big part of my cultural growth within Birmingham, and like the connections and stuff that I've made, because it's been snowball effect. But because that's one that I went to a lot, so and I supported, and they've supported me, and the group supported me as well. So it's been great. But there are a lot of others. There's a few other big ones around Birmingham, which you just don't get time to go to all of them. But it's what you make of it as well. If you go and you sit there in silence in the corner, like I don't want to meet anyone, and just eat the food and go, that's what you're going to get out of it. You got to get involved. You got to do this and that. And if it's important or not, depends on your business. If you need, because we need public interaction, we need between 400 and 600 cars coming to our workshop a month. So we need a lot of people. True. So I had to get out to a lot of people, doing things like this, doing things like the networking events, getting out. We do our own podcast, we do our own outreach, we've got a YouTube channel. So we're having to hit a big market all the time. So that's our business. Whereas if you are running a B2B consultancy and you're specialising in pharmaceutical manufacturing or something, then you don't.
Yeah,
it's just more for fun. It's more for socialising. But then you say that, but then people that are doing that, they're very lonely. They live in a very lonely business. It's very, very isolated. It's very, very, so people, you still get people like that coming to events. And sometimes you meet some people, it's just like, why are you here?
Yeah, you don't need to be.
You don't need to be here. You're already loaded.
Yeah.
Like your business is flying. But it's cultural.
It's for them to
It's
just kind of
social.
come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
social.
And it's social because you stuck behind Facebook all the time, or social media.
Yeah.
You got to have that human interaction. People want to come out. So people got different motivations. They've got different requirements.
Because I went to a couple of them at the start.
Yeah.
Right. And I was thinking to myself, dude, I've got a halal take. What am I doing here? People are going to come anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be here. Like, I'm just wasting time.
No, but you need services. You need products. You need
But for
resources.
to get to know people,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I'd
exactly.
like to get to know people.
Yeah.
And I'm that kind of guy that I'll talk to people, find out what you guys do
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you know. But business wise, for business, I stopped doing it. But now I've started doing it again. Just
your
I think
social
over a
side?
year
Yeah.
for a year or so for my architectural firm
Okay,
that
cool.
I've kind of set
Yeah.
up with my
Yeah.
brother-in-law.
You say that though, but you know, even for your primary firm, your primary business, like from the different networking groups, primarily Chutney and Chat, through the ABCC, through IOD, any issue I've got in the business now, legal, financial, banking, anything, I've pretty much got someone on speed dial
Fair enough.
through the group that I can
That's
ring
very
on a
good.
Sunday evening and get direct personal advice on, non-charged. And you know, you don't.
Keep it quiet.
No, but you don't. No, but that's valuable to everyone. 'Cause you make
That
friends
is-
with people,
Yeah.
and I'm the same. If any of those people ring up, like, you know, I've helped lawyers who've helped me on stuff, who are having problems with their cars,
Yeah.
and they want advice.
It's a bit of give and take, isn't
Of course it is, and I'm there to help them. You know,
To
they've got the
help,
car in
yeah.
Volkswagen, they've got the car in Porsche, they've got the car in Bentley, they've got the car in wherever, and it's kind of like, yeah, I don't work at Bentley, I don't work at Porsche, I
But
don't
you
work at
know people
Volkswagen.
there.
I know bloody people there. I know the sales manager at Volkswagen. I've got technicians who work for Volkswagen who used to work for us. I can
Yeah.
text them on the Sunday evening, they'll tell me what the score is. So things like, because that's my industry. So, and then they've got their legal stuff. So yeah, it's give and take. It's working together, isn't it? Partnership.
Definitely. I think that is very important.
Yeah.
And what's a mistake you've learned from, and how can
Okay.
others avoid it?
So my finance business, the first stage was putting all the eggs in one basket.
Right.
Because you know what? I was looking at a business recently. Someone offered me Amazon DSP.
I
Do you want to set up an Amazon distribution service partner
right,
network with us in Solihull? And I looked at it because it's good. Obviously, everyone's buying stuff on Amazon. We get about 15 Amazon boxes coming through our door at home, about 30 coming through at work. Everyone's doing it. So yeah, it's a massive thing. It's where the market's going. Should you do it? It's low cost entry, heavily supported. You get quick. The growth is massive because they just dump it on you basically because they need the services, they need the support. But you work for Amazon and they can switch you off like that. They can turn on you just like that.
But isn't that
So-
even with the franchising business as well? You're still
Nah,
technically
you're not-
working for
Yeah, you
the
are.
franchise.
But like, if they changed their mind and switched, you could pull back. You could pull back from the franchise agreement. Then you'd have your own. Because that's what happened with us. Because we were franchises to start with, the garage. We set up with franchise as part of Automotive, and then they had trouble. We pulled back from it. We went independent at MotorServ. It was only 6 months in. We weren't that in bed with them. So we started up basically with okay, that's fine. And we set up on our own, MotorServ-UK. So we switched the brand.
It's a
and off we
nice
went.
name, you know, MotorServ. I really
Do you like
like
it?
that from
Yeah.
day one. I never knew it was a Pakistani guy who owns it. Honestly,
Really? It's a UK bit. MotorServ-UK. Yeah.
no, it's just really nice. It's got a really nice,
Catchy.
yeah, very catchy,
Yeah.
and it's got a very nice professional name to it.
Oh, thank you very much.
MotorServ.
Yeah,
And
appreciate that.
Like I said,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I came out to have a look at. You. This is
Yeah.
a few years ago now, and it was a
came to look at a
Volvo
car.
V90. I think I come to see.
Yeah.
I
You
really
did buy
liked
that,
it.
did you?
No, I didn't because my wife was like, I don't want a
Oh.
Volvo,
Yeah.
and that was the end of that. But
Yeah,
I
life's the boss.
still, I think, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. So, last question.
Okay.
What's next for you in business or personal life? Where's the growth now? Let's talk about
Personal
business.
life.
Where's the
Yeah.
business growth? What are you thinking
It's,
next 5 years?
do you know what? It's been if I want to sum up I'd say the last between 2015 to 2022 we're in high growth high growth. We were ramping up like every single year. The numbers were going up and up and up and up, and everything was kind of coming into position. The property stuff was going well. Everything was going well. So we reached the end of 22. 23 was shock and awe in terms of how bad the market got for everyone, like in the motor trade, like in surrounding industries. And 2024 has been all about stabilizing.
Wow.
So we haven't even got the word growth on our minds.
Really?
Surviving and stabilizing.
But isn't that a good time to kind of invest in now, because everything's falling? You know what what Tata did with...
But cars don't go back up again. Car price, yeah. It's not like properties. If the prices tank, you buy up below all the three.
You know, that's what what was it?
But the car prices don't go back up again. So it's not like you can just buy the stock up like cheap. You can if you want it for yourself. Yeah, if you want to drive it as a personal vehicle, yeah, you can get some good deals at the moment. But they're not going to go up in value. The days of overs on 911 turbos and stuff like that, they're gone.
Really?
Yeah, 20, 30k discounts now. The people are paying 20, 30k.
You know,
over
my cousin wants a
22.
Porsche GT3 RS.
They're a different kettle of fish, but that did have, but that was, we had people buying for 190k, and they were being offered £500,000.
Wow.
But now they're not being offered £500,000. They're struggling to find people that will pay 190 for them now. So they will.
I think
I'll
I'll let my cousin know that they're going for about 200 grand.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's difficult. The market's changing all the time, and there are certain cars, obviously, specialist cars, classic cars, like, they're not going to drop. But the general market on cars, the general normal market, is drop, and the EV market start making.
It's the Chinese.
Yeah,
literally come in, put all the tech in the cars
for cheap
and for 30 grand.
Yeah.
That make everyone think that, hang on, why am I paying 60, 70 grand
it's why
for
the whole
half of things in my car? This Chinese
It's
car.
always been the way that you can buy a Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi. You buy a Jap car, you get all the stuff.
Everything.
You buy
I had
Kia,
a
you buy
Lexus. And it was fully loaded.
Yeah. When they say fully loaded, they mean fully loaded.
Yeah.
Whereas Merc
has just got 2-3 things, and then everything else is an extra, and it's not even a cheap extra. It's
expensive
extra.
But it's become, we have to stabilise the market, because then Land Rovers, they come with very good specifications, and Merc they've all had to follow suit. So specs now are like a lot more uniform across the board. But it's how cheap they can manufacture. Because again, minimum wage here, the cost of business in this country,
it's too much.
It's massive. So how can we compete? We can't compete. It's not a level playing field at all. It never has been, and now it's even worse.
But it's their own fault, though, isn't it?
Is it? It's something being... I don't know. I don't want to go into it, but
I
is it being designed?
I think it is. I think it's like it's their own fault. Or it's the government's fault, really.
Or is it supposed to be like this?
No, it's supposed to be like the Chinese, man. They are
but they
right
can't. But then they say that they haven't got human rights. They haven't got human rights.
They've got everything, dude. Come on. They've got everything. Human rights, that's a different kettle of fish now we're going to talk about. It's like, you take...
I'll leave that to one of your human rights lawyer people.
100 years ago, it was a totally different, picture in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, you work to eat.
Exactly.
And if you don't work, you don't eat.
Keep it that way, simple as that,
Natural selection.
Whoever wants to eat, they got to work for it.
Yeah, but...
Where did these benefits come out from? These benefits have just absolutely messed everyone up.
It makes it not worth working in certain respects. Yeah.
Dude, look, if you are making £900, for example, so let's say £1,000, sitting on your couch, and you are working 40 hours a week, right, and you're making £1,200,
it's not worth it.
And you're not paying no taxes being on
I'm not
benefits.
saying people do this, but there's other ways of making money. So you can make the benefits and do something on the internet.
There's hundreds. Somebody on benefits is making more money than the person who's working.
Who's grafting
that
for
is not fair.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
That's the problem, isn't it? And then
cut the benefits, cut the taxes.
Yeah.
Watch, everyone's going to be out there working, and then we can compete with the Chinese.
You need to get the politicians on there, and you need to tell them. You need to score them.
And on that note, Cam, thank you very much for your time.
No, it's been fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant. And my next car, I do need a car, so I'm going to come to you anyway. So
no problem at all.
This here was part of the
that's it. Remember we said we have to work together. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and all the best with everything that you do, my bro.
Thanks very much, and yourself.